Titanic VI has been something I've wanted to do for a very long time. It is a callback to the first three Titanic EPs in the series. I knew I wanted to do something like those for Titanic VI, however the true inspiration for it came from Oscar Wilde's The Picture of Dorian Gray. The novel not only made me truly understand the value of written work, but also painted the idea of doing something more artistic and meaningful. Quoting Shrek, Titanic VI is like an onion. It has many layers, and this video is an explanation of one of the motifs in it. Throughout Titanic VI, there are many ironies and contradictions. For example, the CC. Afterlife seems to be a song that traditionally would be associated with a more orangish color. However, the CC in Titanic VI is blue. The contradictions continue to manifest themselves in the cinematics. The Dunes AWS clip occurs during the day, while a cine afterwards is at night. Likewise, the desert cines occur at sunset and have an orangish tint to them, contradicting the bluish tint and the time of day of the clips. This effect is meant to do two things. Number one, it mirrors the irony of the sinking of the Titanic. Titanic was the unsinkable ship, and she sank. And number two, the contradictions mirror the difference of the truth of the sinking of the Titanic and the popular narrative. The popular narrative of the sinking of the Titanic is that of gross negligence by the crew and the people who built her. This is in them going full speed through an ice field, not having enough lifeboats, etc. However, in reality this is not true. While the facts that Titanic was going full speed through an ice field and that she didn't have enough lifeboats are true, the interpretation of these facts without context of the time period lead to a contaminated view of the story. With the speed, it was fully normal to go full speed through an ice field. On top of this, the captain ordered that the ship should slow down if any ice was spotted, and allowed his crew members, who were the most confident and experienced crew at the time, to discuss it with him. Moving on to the point about the lifeboats, Titanic had more than the required amount of lifeboats. Titanic was required to have 16 lifeboats and carried 20. Plus, even if Titanic had more lifeboats, the crew would have had trouble launching them, as even with a very long 2 hours and 40 minutes of time from the ship hitting the iceberg to the ship fully sinking, the ship could only get away 18 lifeboats by lowering them down the falls, and the final 2 had to be floated off the boat deck as the ship went down. All of this manifests itself into the full message of this motif. You shouldn't simply believe the popular narrative of a situation, as oftentimes it has been simplified and twisted for ease of understanding or for other reasons. While there are other bases for interpretation in Titanic VI, I'm choosing not to go into them. According to Oscar Wilde, when critics disagree, the artist is in accord with himself. Although I firmly believe that no one else will try to even interpret anything from this EP, I would still like to keep it concealed out of a tribute for Oscar Wilde. Overall, thank you very much for watching this and Titanic VI. I had a great time making something much more expressive with the canvas of a Phantom Forces EP, and I hope you shared in the gratification by watching these videos.